Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today we are diving into something absolutely crucial, and it's literally going to flip the way you understand your best friend. We're talking about our dogs, and specifically how they communicate with us when something is just wrong. Now, if you're a focused learner like me, you know that the best insights are usually hiding right there in the subtle details. So today, we're unpacking a complete guide on the silent signs of hidden pain in dogs. Get ready, because by the end of this, you're going to look at your dog in a completely different way.
So let me ask you this. Is your dog hiding pain right now? It's a heavy question, right? But somewhere in your house, your dog might actually be hurting. And I'm not talking about the obvious kind of pain that makes them yelp or limp across the living room. No, I'm talking about the quiet kind. The really scary reality we're uncovering today is that dogs are biologically wired to hide this quiet pain from you. Yes, even though you are the person they trust the absolute most in the entire world. Have you ever noticed, weird, tiny little behavioral changes in your dog and just brushed them off?
Okay, let's dive into this because this is where the real paradigm shift happens. Usually, when we see our dog hesitate or act a little off, we make a totally human assumption, right? We think, oh, he's just being lazy, or she's just being dramatic today, or, well, he's just getting old. But the biological reality? It is entirely different. The hard truth is, they are actively wired to hide their discomfort. These are not just cute quirks of aging, they are deliberate masks. We watch these warning signs happen every single day, call them something else, and completely miss the fact that our dog is actively managing discomfort.
So, here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll uncover why dogs hide their pain. Then we'll go through the behavioral and routine shifts to watch for, followed by the physical clues and reactions. Finally, we'll cover exactly how you can take action.
Let's kick things off with part 1, exactly why dogs hide their pain.
To really get this, we have to understand the source of the behavior, which means looking past our cozy living rooms and going way back into history. You see, dogs descend from wild ancestors, and they're governed by deep biological instincts. Out in the wild, showing any weakness had huge consequences. If an animal showed they were hurt, they could be pushed right out of the pack, or worse, become a giant target for a predator. And you know what? That instinct never left them. So when your modern dog is hurting, their first move is never to show you. It is to hide it. Because of this built-in survival mechanism, the signs they do show are quiet on purpose. They aren't loud, they aren't dramatic, and that is exactly why they are so easily missed for weeks or even months at a time.
Moving right along to part 2, behavioral and routine shifts.
This brings us to the very first sign: difficulty settling down. Normally, a healthy dog who's ready to rest will circle once, maybe twice, and just flop down instantly. But a dog in pain, they'll circle repeatedly, they'll shift positions, get up, try again, and sometimes spend 2 to 3 full minutes just trying to adjust. And why is that? It's because their body is literally telling them that no position feels safe or comfortable right now. Now, as owners, we almost always chalk this up to a dog just being fussy or picky, maybe because they're getting older, but actually it's a major red flag. Next up is sign number 5 on our list: hesitant or altered eating habits. We're not just talking about a dog refusing their food completely. It's more about a dog eating much slower than usual, or maybe they walk away mid-meal to come back later, or they look interested but seem super hesitant to actually lower their head to the bowl. This pattern right here is a massive clue. It really frequently signals pain in the neck, mouth, or joints, just because that specific position, lowering the head and extending their reach, becomes genuinely uncomfortable for them. So if their eating rhythm suddenly changes and you can't figure out why, you're looking at a very clear physical clue.
Now, what's incredibly interesting is how we completely misinterpret sign number 3, sudden increased clinginess. Most of us see our dogs suddenly following us from room to room or leaning really heavily against our legs, and we just think, oh, they just love me extra today. But the truth? Being close to their person actually feels like the safest place in the world when something feels wrong inside. If your dog suddenly turns into a Velcro dog and there's no obvious trigger, like, a loud thunderstorm or a stranger in the house, they very well might be seeking comfort from some hidden pain. All right, let's transition into part 3, physical clues and reactions. Let's see how this all builds with sign number 2, the spinal reflexive flinch. There's actually this simple 10-second test you can do right at home, which is exactly what a vet does during an exam. Step 1, just gently run your hand down your dog's back, from the shoulders to the base of the tail, using light, even pressure. Step 2, watch their body language closely. A completely healthy dog is barely going to react. But a dog carrying pain along that line will instinctively dip their spine downward. It's almost like they're trying to escape your hand. Or their tail will drop suddenly mid-stroke.
It's a completely involuntary reflex to discomfort.
Then we've got sign number 4, heavy resting panting. Obviously, panting during play or on a really hot day makes perfect sense, right? But breathing heavily while lying completely still in a cool room without any prior exercise, that kind of resting pant is the body's direct physiological response to internal discomfort. It is remarkably similar to how a human might breathe a little faster when something deeply aches. So if they haven't been running around and it's not hot, resting panting is a huge signal you absolutely should not ignore.
Honestly, sign number 7 is the quietest one of all, and it's the one most owners miss completely: tense facial expressions. Researchers have actually studied this using scales that are super similar to human pain scales in hospitals. Look for these tiny micro-expressions: tightness around their eyes, ears pulled slightly but persistently back, and a strained, tight mouth, even when they're just resting. You know, a relaxed dog's face looks soft. A dog in pain has a face that looks just subtly strained. Once you really learn to spot these micro-expressions, it becomes one of the fastest ways to check in on your pup at a glance.
This really all comes into focus when we look at localized indicators. That's sign 6 and 8. Sign 6 is localized sensitivity. This is when a dog pulls away or gives a really low growl when you touch one specific spot, like a hip. Guys, they aren't being bad. They are literally telling you exactly what hurts, yet it gets constantly misread as a behavior problem. Then we have sign 8, focused licking. This is not normal grooming. We're talking about obsessive licking of one specific paw or joint or patch of skin, sometimes even until the fur thins out. They're doing this to self-soothe. It's exactly like a human absent-mindedly rubbing a sore muscle. They are pointing straight to their pain.
Okay, bringing it all together with part 4, how to take action. The absolute real danger of these hidden signs is that, well, as the saying goes, pain rarely announces itself with one dramatic moment. It arrives in fragments, spread out just far enough apart that each one seems easy to explain away. And this brilliantly illustrates the core issue. None of these signs happen in a vacuum. A dog who takes 2 minutes to settle down at night might also be panting at rest and maybe eating a little differently. These fragments build up so quietly, week after week. Your dog is pushing through it for you, functioning as best they possibly can, which makes it tragically easy for months to just slip by before we finally realize they've been dealing with an issue the whole time.
So, here's your concrete action plan. Step 1. Observe. Really watch how they settle at night, keep an eye on their eating habits, and notice how they jump or take the stairs. Step 2 is pattern tracking. Listen, a single odd moment might mean absolutely nothing, but a pattern means everything. Keep a quick, simple little log in your phone of anything that feels even slightly off across a few days. And step 3, present that exact timeline and frequency to your vet. Your vet can't watch your dog 24 hours a day, right? But you can. That makes you the most valuable observer your dog will ever have. And that phone log is the exact data your vet needs to catch a problem early.
I really want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. What small, seemingly harmless change has your dog shown this week that might actually be a hidden signal? Tonight, I'm challenging you to just observe your pet with fresh eyes. Run that quick 10-second spinal check, watch how they settle down. I would absolutely love for you to share your findings because, as we've learned today, paying attention to the quiet details can change literally everything for our dogs. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep observing, and I will see you next time.